Nintendo's no stranger to any gamer. No matter what you think of their consoles, I don't think anybody will question that Nintendo makes fantastic games. Donkey Kong made them nearly an instant household name when it was released in 1981. Not only was it a huge success, but it also introduced us to Mario. And the rest, as they say, is history. Nintendo's meteoric rise to be the king of arcades and home gaming, however, wasn't without some bumps. One such bump occurred in 1983 with Donkey Kong 3. The story so far. It all starts with Donkey Kong. The love-struck gorilla has kidnapped the girlfriend of a lowly construction worker, Mario. Mario works his way up past all the obstacles that DK can throw his way and ultimately saves his gal, Pauline. After knocking out Donkey Kong, Mario apparently gives up his job as a construction worker and tries to start his own little zoo, and Donkey Kong is his main attraction. This could also be viewed as the first time that we see Mario has a brother, even though he isn't wearing his trademark green. Mario is the villain this time, keeping the poor Donkey Kong captive as DK's son, Donkey Kong Jr., tries to free his dad from Mario's cage. DK Jr. succeeds. Mario says F this and goes on to be a plumber with his brother Luigi. Somewhere he takes a wrong turn, gets hyped on some shrooms. Well, we all know what happens to Mario. So what was next for DK? Apparently being locked up would have been the best thing for everyone because Donkey Kong apparently likes screwing with people. After getting freed by Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong decides to invade a greenhouse? It's Stanley to the rescue. Wait, who the heck is Stanley? Other than being a collectible in the Smash Bros. Series, this is it for this guy. Although he did appear in Saturday Supercade, if that counts for anything. So this brings us to the events of Donkey Kong 3, released by Nintendo in 1983. The gameplay is very different than that of the other games in the Mario or Donkey Kong series. Donkey Kong hangs from atop a greenhouse, stirring up the insects that have also decided to make the greenhouse their home. Stanley's goal, as I call it, is to shoot the monkey in the butt. Stanley's only weapon is his little spray gun. The idea of every level is to shoot DK in the butt enough times that he leaves the greenhouse or gets his head stuck in a beehive. You can also advance to the next level by killing enough insects. If you opt for the second route, this does not mean that you can ignore Donkey Kong. He slowly climbs down the vines, and if you let him get to the end, he will drop down and attack Stanley. There are several types of insects. You have your average everyday spear-tossing insects. You have insects that burst into pieces when they die. There are worms that can only be frozen or retreat by getting shot by Stanley's spray gun. These worms can only be destroyed by Stanley's only power-up. At the beginning of each life, a super spray gun will appear at the right vine. Advancing DK up the vines will make it drop down. When Stanley grabs it, the spray gun bursts go much faster and have a more of effect on the enemies, including Donkey Kong. One last thing to watch out for on each level is that you have to keep the bugs from toting away all of your plants. Donkey Kong 3 is one of the least liked titles that Nintendo put out in the Mario or Donkey Kong series. I'm not really sure why though. I think possibly for the same reason Luigi's Mansion and Super Mario Sunshine were not initially liked for the GameCube. They weren't really what people wanted or expected from the Mario franchise. To each their own. Both of those games were excellent to me. Donkey Kong 3 has a great challenge to offer if you can get past it being so different from the other Donkey Kong and Mario games. Its main weakness, I believe, is variety. There are really only 3 similar screens in this game, and the previous 2 games had 4 fairly different screens. This game was pretty rare in the arcades. Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. could be found nearly anywhere, but Donkey Kong 3 just didn't get that same treatment. The game, however, is not difficult to find. There was a near-perfect port of it for the NES, and it is also available for the Wii's Virtual Console. It was one of the games that was available for the Game Boy Advance e-reader peripheral, and it also had a pseudo port as a Game & Watch handheld called Greenhouse, which was included in the first Game & Watch collection for the Nintendo DS. Once again, thanks for watching Classic Credits. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe, share, let people know about the show. Also, please stay tuned after the credits this week for a special service announcement about the wildfires in Colorado. Tune in next time where I once again hope to show you a game that you may have forgotten or never even heard about.
And then all of a sudden the wind shifted and it just came over the hill, and it was this huge black puff of smoke, and then the wind picked up more and more, and then you could just see it coming down the mountain.
Hi folks, Steve-O here from Venom Nation Studios. Stories like this are making headlines as aid agencies respond to multiple historic wildfires across the state of Colorado, providing shelter, food, basic needs, and help with recovery. Hundreds of homes have been lost, tens of thousands have been evacuated. A relief fund has been established to aid in these recovery efforts. If you'd like to help financially and cannot help locally in Colorado, please donate. Donations will be given to the Salvation Army, the American Red Cross, and the Humane Society SPCA of Colorado. Supplies are needed from the front lines for the firefighters and persons affected by the fires in need of food, water, shelter, clothing, cots, and emergency equipment. Supplies for displaced animals such as pets and large animals are also needed, and for those animals kept in the shelters from the evacuated and destroyed areas during this historic fire season. Your donation helps these efforts. This is a historic event that has never been recorded in Colorado's history. If you'd like to donate, we've set up a special link. It's wildfire.venomnationstudios.com. That's a website address, wildfire.venomnationstudios.com. And you can donate via PayPal. Please keep the emergency crews and those affected by this fire in your thoughts and prayers. And on behalf of all of us here and for all of those affected, thank you for your generous donations to the cause.